Hi, in this video I will show you how to put together this suit box, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So these are the pieces to the suit box. So if you can see, I'll show you later, this a little bit later. I have a little mat that I had to put down because it's so dark. My mat's normally black, so I had to put the scrap mat. Anyways, this is what the front of the box is going to look like, similar to this. This is a version, I'll show you that you can use it for a card or a box in this file. So this is the background, the shirt, and then we have these little pieces. So this will go with the box, that part. And then we have the little tie in here and the folded handkerchief. I forget what they're called. I can't think of them. I just looked them up too. Funny. Anyways, these are the two box pieces, the big ones, and then this will be part of the suit part on the front. So what we'll do, we'll put the box together, I mean at least partially together, and then we'll build it on the box before we fold it. So let's go ahead, and so you see all my little pieces are in here, so I'm going to put those aside. So let's go ahead and take these pieces, make sure you fold them well. So I do have, I'm currently not using, I don't use the maker scoring wheel or anything. I'm currently using another machine that's no longer sold to do, that does a little kiss cut score line, which is, you can do that with a couple machines. Well, Silhouette you can do that. So this is going to go right here, this piece goes behind here. So there's a little score mark right there. I'm working all day long, so my fingers are a little rough from all the glue and the paper. I'm just going to gently fold it up without pulling this apart. So make sure it's folded everywhere. And then here, I just wanted to fold it first so you can see where it folds. We'll add glue using our art glitter glue. Sorry about my mat moving, by the way. I'm just don't use the craft mats that much anymore. I just continue cleaning off my other mats. So just get a fine bit of glue around these edges to glue this blue piece. If you're using textured paper like I am, I'm using American Crafts textured paper. We're having some, let me get that out of the way. Oh boy, okay, our issues are over. I should have taped that down. Anyways, we're going to put the textured side so it faces that way in the opening, through the opening. And we'll just line it up to the top. I made it slightly shorter so it doesn't interfere with the fold. So that'll be the back. Just making sure that that glue adheres well. So the way we're going to do this is going to be the back. It's going to fold in the back, and this will be the front. So let's take this other piece. We're going to go ahead and glue this side tab. So the actual box itself is pretty straightforward. It's a good gift for Father's Day, I would say, since I intended it. Always wanted to do kind of a suit card or a box, so actually this file is 2-in-1. Because I see a lot of like cards, but I thought this would be fun. And we also have a similar box that's a nerd shirt box. So what I'm doing is I'm just gluing that on the inside, and then we can go ahead and fold this over and glue the other side, this other tab. So we're going to just glue this tab. We're not going to put the box together yet. We're going to keep it flat. And while it's flat, we can add all that It just folds over right onto it, and just make sure it's lined up here. But while it's flat, we'll go ahead and I had to adjust my light a little bit. We'll add the suit front. So the biggest thing is make sure you put it on the correct side. You don't want it on this side because this is going to flip down like this and close on the back side. Okay, so we want it on the front side, so we're just going to fold those flat, so that should be like that. And we're going to start with this piece. So before you get started, there's two little cut lines right here. So those two little cut lines, really important. Those are going to help us line up the top of the tie. So let me go ahead and move this out of the way so we don't have any issues with. What happens is when I have, sometimes my camera will try to auto focus and it causes us more pain than good. So this is the shirt background, and what I did in the file is we have these pieces, and these pieces will go like this. So you can tell how they line up with that little angled piece like that. Lines up to the corner and lines up on the top. So when I cut this out and I had stripes, I was a little bit, I have them angled in the file by default, but you may want to angle them a little bit more if you want it a little bit like the stripe going this way, but I tried to make it close to what a pattern, what would happen if you had a fabric. So that's why it's like that. So what we want to do is get the tie pieces out first. So these are the two tie pieces. So I embossed it with, I gotta get the name of it. It's no longer, Cuttlebug no longer makes embossing folders, but I use this one, Harlequin, but other manufacturers do have them. I mean, if you are looking for something like this, you could try Darius, or as long as you're watching this video, they're still in business. And Joann's has, as of this video, has like a Park Lane. So those are others. So there's two little cut lines that you can barely see, and they're right here. So if you look closely, make sure they're at the top and not at the bottom, because what we're going to do is we want to use that to place this. So I'm making sure I'm putting glue on the non-textured side. This color's Blue Jay. It's a pretty blue. So I'm going sideways so I can see the cut lines a little bit better. Keep on getting glue on my fingertips. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to line it up. So one cut line, line the right hand side with the end of the right hand side cut line, and then the left side with the left. Just wash my hands, but for some reason I'm getting glue. And then we'll take this little piece and layer it on, and I inked it lightly on the edges, and this is really for dimension. So I find it easier to go sideways. Just line it up. So now there's no other cut lines. That's the only thing we need. This little part here goes right there, and right goes to the corner. So we can go ahead and place this and the other piece, and it's going to overlap the tie a little bit. So just make sure you line it up, the corner to corner, and then line it up on the top with that top edge. I have a little wet paper towel that I used to get excess glue off of, but I have a feeling that that may not be glue. I've washed my hands a lot today, so it's possible that it could be just my skin's coming off. It's very dry here. So we're going to do the same on the other side. Just match it up, that corner. And then it overlaps. And that's the beginning of the shirt part. The next will be these. So these, when you cut them, are going to be like this. So I fold it naturally down. So this is the textured side up. I fold it naturally down, and then I'm going to fold it back. So what that means is the part I'm folding back, and I'm trying to, so this is a valley fold. The part I'm folding back is non-textured. So I want the textured look. So that you may not care about this. So if you don't care, then I wouldn't worry about it. But what I'm going to do is add a panel to the top there to make it textured again. So once I fold it that way, I'm going to turn it around, non-textured side, put the textured piece on it. So we'll do that the same on the other side. I'm trying to get glue to this bottom. So just line it up. So remember, I'm putting this on the non-textured side once I fold it. So you want to pre-fold it. So I'll do the other side again too, so you can see. So if you didn't really care, or if you had smooth cardstock, you wouldn't need this piece. Because if it's smooth on both sides, it's going to look the same on both sides. So that's that. So that'll be on that side. So the same here, just checking which side is my textured. So I already mountain fold it, which is the natural fold, which I like to do first. And then I'm going to do the valley fold to go back the other way. It helps to define it so we can easily do that. And once I do that, I'm just going to make it flat one more time. This time I'm going to add glue on this piece. You could do it either way, whichever one is easier. Just be careful you don't go too far down, and the reason is that I made this other one slightly slower with the rounded bottom piece. Sorry about that. I find sometimes I don't breathe very well in these videos, and then you hear me kind of breathing hard. So I'm trying to work on that, because I'm sure it gets old hearing me breathe hard. So that's it. So the way this is going to go now, and you can see if that's all the way down, make sure. This is the one that's going to show. That's going to show. I'll get that lined up completely. If you do what I did right here, I have a little bit of overhang. It's going to clip that off. So put the left side on first. And if you want to, you can glue it down first. Glue this, what is this called? A lapel? What is that called? I can't remember what that's called. Boy, you look up all the terminology and then I forget it in the video. I don't have anybody in my household that currently wears a tie. So I'm just going to line this up to that bottom and then the left. So at this point, what you could do, and what I'm going to do, is just kind of glue up here. And the reason I'm just going to glue up here, because it'll kind of lift it a little bit. So let's say you could always do a pop dot too. So if you did like a little foam tape to give it dimension. But what I found is if I add a little glue up here and fold it back, and you have to hold it for a second, that bottom part's going to kind of come up like it would normally. And if you want it completely flat, of course, add a dot of glue. So we might as well go and do, it's popping up a little bit anyways. So if you want it completely, so there's opportunity to add dimension. You see I already did that with an embossing folder. So let's overlap this other side. So I kind of lift it up and I line up the bottom first, then the right. Make sure it's lined up. So once we get this on and glued on, so if you have it so it doesn't, that you see the white a little bit, I had some excess ink on there on the edge because I have that white cardstock back there. You can go ahead and ink it. And I have this Distress Oxide. I can use this, but that's not going to be as precise as I want, so I'm going to try this. I hate when I say try in a video. That I should be knowing what I'm doing here. So I'm going to do it down here. I'll wipe my desk as soon as I'm done here. I'm just kind of blending it. So these little finger brushes are like the makeup brushes. They have like all these little bristles. It blends really well. So all I'm doing is going around the edges just to clean it up. And I would normally not do this on my workspace. I like to put a piece of paper behind it. I'm one of those ones, I know you can wipe it, but if I have all this extra scrap paper, so why not use that? And you can always trim it a little bit too, but it looks like we're good. Just getting the bulk of my white. So it just tones it down a little bit. You can really barely tell that it's on there. And these are from iCrafter. So it was a new business from a couple years ago. She's a designer that designed SVG files and die cuts. Her name is Linda, and she opened her own business after she was no longer working at Sizzix. So I'm just going to wipe that off so we don't have ink. So at this point I have some details I want to put on. So I have that part's something different. I'll show you at the end. That's part of the box on the back. So I'm going to put that to the left here. This is the little pocket. And they're called pocket squares. I couldn't think of it earlier. And I have these two brads I'm going to use instead of, now that's an extra one of those little ovals. So there's two little pieces. You can add these for the, if you want to do it, cut it out of cardstock, you can. But I want some dimensions, so I'm going to use brads, which are basically the same size. So these little medium size, regular size brads, they're not mini brads, but they're about 3 millimeters in size, in diameter I should say. So what I'm going to do is do this first. So I'm going to go ahead and get a pencil, which I had one here handy. I'm going to decide where I want these. So I think I want one there. So we're going to use these to help us. So I just determine where you want them. And the reason I have to put it on first before I put it on the box, because the brad's going to go right through it. So that's where I'm going to put them, generally, close to it. And I have this little hole punch. I'm going to use the hole punch. I was going to use the paper piercer, but I can get to it, so I'm going to use this little really small hole punch so I can accurately hit where I want to go. It's not quite big enough for what I need, but it helps start the hole. So once I get those holes, I'll go ahead and put them in, and then we'll move on to the little paper square, the paper this square, the pocket square, and the pocket. So I said I was going to do the little pocket square in the pocket, but let's go ahead and put this on the front of this, and then we'll add that. So I've got a little bit too much ink over in that corner. So whenever I do that, I like to match it on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and add glue on the front of this. So make sure you're on the right side, correct side. That means you should see the flap like this when it's flat. So we'll go ahead and line it up into the full spot there. And we made the box the same color as the suit color. You see the brads kind of stick out, which is nice. I like the dimension with the brads, and I have a ton of them. I've been scrapbooking for a long time. So the edge here, because I wasn't paying attention, didn't have glue on it. I'm going to just pull that down. Hold that for a minute. If you need to, you can just trim a little bit, but I'm just going to hold it down. I just need glue all the way to the tip of that panel. Now you can put it on the left or right. I'm going to put it on, see the card, I put it on the right. I like it on the right better, actually. So what we're going to do is these layer together. This piece with the one little mountain goes over this back piece to give it dimension, like that. Then you can determine where you're going to put it. So I already put double sticky the foam tape on the back. So determine where you want this, and then we'll place it. I don't have any cheater marks for this because I figured it would probably be an optional thing that people would want to use. So just I'm going to line it up a little bit higher, and it's okay that I'll hide it with this. And so with these are not really sticky, so I like to add just a little dot of glue to help adhere this particular part thing. So you want to kind of go up as far as I usually go to that little edge there. And that's the front of the box, so let's go ahead and finish it off. So we're going to go ahead and close the box. So there's two options. So I didn't cut it out, but there's a bottom panel. So if you want to, you can, if you're going to put something heavy in it, I'd use that bottom panel. So you would fold these down like that on the inside and glue it on the outside like that. If it's going to be lightweight, not really heavy, I mean, you can also put it on the inside. So some people prefer to do it both ways. So you would, if you wanted to put something a little heavier, glue it on the bottom and then use the other panel that comes with it to go ahead and cover all those panels. So to close it, we're just going to go ahead and add glue to these tabs. Fold them in a little bit there, and you can do it that way, or you could do it like I said, put this on the inside, but I'm lining it up on the sides to make sure it lines up. Then if you have like a blunt tool, like a wooden chopstick is one of my go-tos. You can either try to reach in and add pressure, or just do this and then Be careful of the flaps. So make sure that's good and dry before you go on. And that's the other benefit of gluing it on the bottom, is that it'll hold it in place better. It won't lift up like that. So it's just a matter of what you want to do. So now we just need to add this little oval. Again, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue to this little foam tape, that little pop dot. It's just really a decorative piece. Just fit it in place. And then the last thing is, I'm going to use a Velcro thing, a little Velcro dot for the closure. But you could use a magnet if you wanted to, that kind of thing. So the way I usually do it is I cut each side. So these are Velcro band I'm currently using, but you can get them pretty much anywhere. I personally like to put them together first and then install them. So I like to put the hard part on usually on the actual item. On the lid I'll put the fuzzy part. So the way I do this, I usually just take the backing off of the part I want to place. Oops, that's not the part I want. I want the other side. We want to put it on the actual lid. So I want to center it here. It's a little bit inset there. I'm going to take that off now. I'm going to start pulling this down. I want to make sure it's even on the sides before I press it down to get it set in place. So the first time you just kind of have to, might take a second. I just kind of pull it gently to release it, and I can apply more pressure. So there we go. Nice little closure. I do like the Velcro. I prefer Velcro for it. So there's the box. So you could always put a Happy Father's Day here. You could put a message on the back. So I hope you think that's fun. If you do like it, please give me a little thumbs up below, and or subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. And if you hit the little notification bell to the right hand side, you'll be notified when we have new projects or tutorials and stuff like that. So really quick, let's go ahead and put together this card. So in the extra stuff folder, so we have this, so you see how different they look. So in the extra stuff folder, you'll find this card base. So you'll find this card, this panel I've already put on, and this a blank tag. So I wrote that on using my Sure Cuts a Lot. So yeah, if you have Sure Cuts a Lot, I just took the backing off. I just used a fill, a text fill, a line fill, which I've never used before. Did like a cross hatch and just used a pen to draw that on. So you can't do that with the Cricut, but you can with a couple other softwares like Sure Cuts a Lot. So this is the same exact file. So there's nothing, all the card file comes with is the card, the panel, and this blank tag. So if you want to use the tag, that's up to you. You can put whatever you want. But I'm just going to place it down here. And you could put it at the top too. You could just say Happy Father's Day. Actually, I think I'll put it at the top. I'm just going to make sure I get it lined up. And so you have two projects in one when it comes to this file. And you could use it for like really anything. You could use it for like a retirement. It depends on, of course, where you work. Because this is more formal type of, there's not that many people that wear ties anymore. You see, I used brads on this one as well. This is actually the card I'm going to send to my dad. So that's it. It's just kind of fun that you can use this for a card or a box. I just pulled that little thing up again. This is how I knew about that issue. The first card. So again, here's both the box and the card. So the card, it's 5 by 7. So you could cut your own. We have there's a SVG file available in our basic envelope set. Or if you have one that you just purchased because they're A7 size. And that. So I hope you enjoyed this project and thank you for watching.